Hi, I'm Mark Karan, lead guitar player for many years in various Grateful Dead iterations, Bob Weir and Rat Dog, Phil and Friends, Mickey Hart, the Planet Drums, and the other ones, the first big band after Jerry passed. And I've played with Delaney Bramlett quite a bit, currently playing with Dave Alvin and the Third Mind. And I'm here to talk about this guitar. The Peghead Nation guys invited me to introduce this instrument to you all. I'm going to start by telling you a little story about how I happened to meet this guitar. There's a guitar dealer, acoustic guitar dealer out here named Steve Swan, and I let him know that I was interested in replacing the 60s Gibson Dove that I was touring with in Rat Dog and getting something that was a little bit livelier and more refined. And so what Steve did was he started this process of bringing half a dozen guitars to my home and sitting there with me while I went through 6 different guitars and picked my favorite 2. And then he would leave me with those 2 guitars for a week to explore and come back the next week with 6 new guitars to try out. And we did this process for 6 weeks. So I guess, 36 guitars that I tried out. And the search was for something chunky and warm but lively and not, at the risk of offending some guitar players, a sissy guitar, not something that was really only happy making crystalline sounds and being gently finger-picked. I'm a bit ham-fisted with my right hand sometimes, and I need something that's not going to cave. Anyway, after 6 weeks of going through this process and trying some 50s Martins and all kinds of really interesting guitars, this is the guitar that I settled on. And so this is the guitar that I toured with for several years with Bob Weir and Rat Dog, and it's my primary acoustic now that I use at shows and stuff. What else can I tell you about it? It's a Tony Rice. For a long time, I was mistakenly referring to it as a Tony Rice Pro, but what it is a Tony Rice that has some unique appointments. The rosewood peghead overlay is not normal. I think that the hole may be non-standard, and the bear paw spruce top, I think, is unusual. What I love about this instrument is it has a lot of the qualities that I dig in a really nice Martin. But Martins for me are similar to, like, in the amp world. I love a really, really good Marshall amplifier, but there are mostly not really good ones out there for my tastes. Most of them sound a little bright and mid-rangey, but you get the magical one and they sound like God. Well, that's been my experience of Martins, that a lot of them sound a little bright, a little thinner on the bottom end than I'd prefer. But every once in a while you get one of those magical ones. And this guitar sort of strikes me as one of those magical guitars. It's got the sparkle, but not overly so, and it has a lot of that low mid-range warmth and that chunk when you play it, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm a singer as well as a guitar player, so the guitar really has to solo give me something I can dig in with, and I love this guitar for that. So this guitar does have Indian rosewood back and sides, and as I mentioned earlier, the bear paw spruce, ebony fretboard. Most of you probably already know that this is designed after Clarence White's guitar. And the pickup that I'm using in this guitar currently is a Sunrise. I'm not currently using the Sunrise preamp, although I am curious about trying that. I really struggle with acoustic guitar pickups. I've wound up settling on this one basically because it's simple to use and it doesn't offer me a lot of problems. It's a good overall acoustic guitar pickup, especially since I do like to play acoustics in a band setup, and a lot of the other ones that sound more natural feedback really badly at high levels. So that's how I settled on that. Trying to think if there's anything more unique. I don't know if you guys can see them or not, but these little cracks in here have a story of their own. They came from all the festival dates that we used to play with Rat Dog. We'd be out in the hot sun in the Midwest or the South somewhere at a festival, and all the guitars would be out there sitting in the hot sun, and the beautiful old school nitro finish didn't like that. I actually sent this guitar into Santa Cruz at one point to see if they could fix it, and they said they could, but their recommendation was that they wouldn't mess with it because it would probably change the tone, and I decided they were probably right because I love the tone and I'm not risking changing that, so I stuck with what I had. So that's kind of the story on my Santa Cruz Tony Rice, and I guess I can play it out a little bit. As I said earlier, I never know what to play for these things. I'm such a songs guy, but let's see.